The following podcast is a comedy and satire show. Everything you hear is meant for entertainment purposes only and should not be taken seriously. The opinions, jokes, and commentary made on this podcast are not factual statements. Any videos, clips, or media shown during the podcast belong to their original creators. I do not claim ownership or credit for them. Listener discretion is advised.
All right. Welcome to the Burning Up in Texas podcast. I'm your host, Juan Jimenez. For those of you who didn't tune in to the last one, I am a stand-up comedian. Just started doing podcasts as well. That's why I'm in my master closet, in my master bedroom. Crazy, right? But yeah, we're gonna get into a few things today. Kind of decided to do this spur of the moment. Wasn't gonna do one today, but decided to do one. As the show goes on, as time goes on, it'll get better and better with time. Just bear with me. I'm a regular guy. I got a regular job. Just trying to make it, in this world, in comedy and podcast and whatnot. But yeah. Besides working, I haven't been up to much really lately. Biggest thing in my life right now, I guess, is trying to stop smoking weed. Honestly, my biggest reason is spiritually. It's not good. I actually used to be a huge metalhead, and now I found Christ. So yeah, if it wasn't for that, honestly, I'd probably just keep smoking. But he doesn't want me to do it, so I'm trying to get off of it, at least off of using it every day. I'm trying to make it to where I only use it on special occasions. Only issue is that everything's a special occasion. Oh, we're going to go out on a date? Special occasion. We're going to go watch a movie? Special occasion. And eventually they're not special occasions anymore. They're more like every weekend is a special occasion. More like excuses to smoke is what I see them as. But yeah, I'm struggling with that. And the crazy thing is, I will admit I have done some of the nose beers, a little of the cheeky stuff. And I was able to get off that. It took me I wasn't like a heavy user, I just did it like every once in a while for fun, but I kind of just realized, it sucks. It sucks more than it's fun for me, because, you get nose infections. That was a new thing. I didn't know it came with that, because in the movies, they show you the fun part, but they don't tell you about everything else that sucks. They don't tell you about, the nose infection the next day, or the sinus infection the next day. They don't tell you about not being able to go to sleep after the fun's over, because that's one of the things that to me mainly sucked about Coke, because I have trouble going to sleep already as it is, just stone cold sober, which is also another thing that's giving me a hard time with quitting weed, is that I can't fucking sleep at night. And apparently, I looked it up, it's because your brain, I don't know the exact chemicals or the exact, I'm not like a doctor or anything like that, but apparently your brain produces chemicals. Your body already produces the chemicals that you need to put you to sleep. So basically, your brain releases these chemicals that tell you, hey, it's time for bed. You're tired. Go to sleep. And then when you start smoking weed, and then you start using weed to go to sleep, like I have been using for years, your body stops producing those chemicals because it already has the weed. Yeah, so I've been struggling with the sleep part of it, and just struggling to not smoking. Honestly, just every day. I get off of work most of the time, and the first thing I do, or the first thing I used to do when I get home, is I smoke. I smoke some bud. I'd take a shower, I'd go in my garage, smoke a little, the THCA, because it's legal here in Texas. So I go to the dispensary and I get the THCA. Had to say that. I don't want to get in any trouble. And hopefully I don't, because I'm trying not to do that anymore, is the point that I'm trying to make. So please don't come raid my house just yet. I'm really saying some things on here. I don't know. It's like I said, I just started doing podcasts. I don't know. But yeah, basically I already said it, but I smoke weed in my garage sometimes when I get off work. And I've been having trouble not doing that. The thing is, I do pretty good for a little bit, but then I'll have like one hard day at work, or I'll just come home really tired and I'll use that as an excuse to smoke weed. Like, oh, I had a tough day, I might as well, I might as well light up. But I'm trying to not do that. I'm trying to keep it to where like it's literally just on special occasions, where special occasions are actually special occasions. Like maybe my birthday, which is like once a year, or like if we go on vacation or someone's wedding or something like that, but not like, yeah, we're gonna go to the movies. Okay, special occasion. We're gonna go to my mom's house. Oh, special occasion. I gotta stop doing that. And I realize that, but with time. But yeah, I've been smoking weed, I'd say, for a really long time now. Let's see, I'm 30, so probably more than 15 years for sure. For probably 15 years actually, because I started around like 14. I'm 30, so yeah, 14, 15, 16. I'm not exactly sure when I started. I'm gonna say 13, anywhere from 13 to 15. I know I definitely wasn't 16 yet. Because I don't know. Every time I tell people when I started smoking weed, they're always like, "Damn, that's really young." It is. I didn't realize that at the time because I was a kid and hey, weed, But yeah, I probably shouldn't have been smoking weed. It probably affected my memory. My memory sucks. I don't remember anything from school. Not that I was there. Cause yeah, I most of my high school career I spent outside of the high school. So yeah, I was a slacker. Well, no, to be a slacker, you had to go to school. I was a fucking burnout. I didn't even go. If that's what I don't know what you would call it. I was an idiot. I was a fucking idiot. But hey, we're all young and dumb, and we all have to have our dumb days, and that's all right. Just gotta smarten up as an adult. Is all you gotta do. You can't stay in that stupid kid state. You can't do it. Life will catch up with you. But yeah, weed got me into a lot of trouble too, though, as a kid or as a teenager. Did a lot of stupid shit because of weed, and just kind of things that are kind of centered around weed. Just like crazy shit. We used to be and I'm not trying to glorify these things when I talk about them. Sorry. But this is just my past, and it's wrong. I'm not trying to condone. I don't know if there's any kids watching this, or really, there shouldn't be any kids watching this. This is for adults. But if there is, or maybe any kids hearing their dad listening to this by accident, because sometimes we make those mistakes where we watch things or we say things that we don't think our kids are listening, and they are. So yeah, I'm not condoning these things. So for any kid listening, I was not a very good person, I would say. I had a lot of bad influences in my life, and I got myself into a lot of trouble that I wished I had never got into. And I put my parents through a lot of headaches that they probably didn't need to go through, but they did because of me. So, Mom and Dad, I'm sorry. Sorry for anybody that I may have affected, you know. I mean, I'm probably making it sound crazy. I wasn't like some like fucking. I just stole. I like to steal, and I got into a bunch of trouble and a bunch of stuff and things that I shouldn't have been doing. And yeah, I'm just trying to let y'all know that I'm not glorifying this at all. Okay, but whatever. On with the story. Or on with the what I was saying. I got into a lot of trouble. From weed, things centered around weed, having to do with weed. Let's see. Oh, here's a good example. One time we were weedless. We were weedless and we were moneyless. We were broke. We were broke. And so our mentality was, let's look for someone to rob. Let's look for someone to rob, because we don't have any weed, and we need some weed, because back in the day, if you woke up and you didn't have any fucking weed, and your friend didn't have any weed, and nobody in your circle had any weed, then the shit was fucked. The shit was fucked. The day sucked. Basically, you were just kind of finding shit to do. You're just kind of like, which is actually kind of sad if you think about it. Yeah, but so we all went to the same high school, and someone in my circle was like, "Hey, I know this kid named Josh. He sells weed. I don't really like him. Do you wanna rob him?" Because I was gonna be the one that was gonna be, handling the transaction. Because I was what you would call a crash dummy back in the day. I didn't give a shit. I was an idiot, and I just did things without thinking about the consequences. None of that. But yeah, he said, I have this kid Josh that you can rob. Do you want to rob him? And everybody else I was like, Josh, who's Josh? Do I know him? And everybody else was like, yeah, bro, you know him, bro, from Jim, this dude, and he's tall, and you know him, bro, you know him. And I'm trying to think, and I'm like, nah, I don't think I know him. But fuck it, yeah, call him up. If I can't even remember him, then obviously I don't fucking know him, and obviously I don't give a shit about him. Was my thought process at the time. So I remember I had like a little I was bad. My parents didn't buy me shit because I didn't deserve it. But I had like a little flip phone. Everybody else had smartphones. I had a little flip phone because I was a badass fucking motherfucker. My parents was like, nah, like we don't want you out on Facebook fucking buying drugs and starting bullshit. So flip phone, you don't deserve it, you little fuck. But yeah, so I had a little flip phone, and he didn't have my number. He had the other guy's number, my friend's number. So I texted him from my phone because, brand new number. Who the fuck is this? I texted him and it was a guy that we went to school with. So which was one. Well, I was gonna say it's a mistake, but I was out of high school at this point, so maybe it wasn't a mistake. Maybe it was just. I mean, it was a mistake, the whole thing. But what I was getting at was it's stupid that I would rob someone that I went to school with. But then, as I was saying that, I realized, well, I wasn't even out of school at this point, or I was out of school at this point. So, yeah, and so I texted him, let's meet up. How much you got? I think I texted him it was a long time ago. I forgot exactly what it was. I think it was something like 9 grams. Or I asked him for an ounce, I think. And he said, well, I only got 9 grams. So I was like, okay, well, that's cool. making it seem like I'm gonna buy it from him. He's telling me prices and stuff, and I'm like, cool, you know. In my head, I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna fucking rob you anyway. So yeah, whatever, bro. We got 9 Gs, bring it on, you know. So we meet up at the park, and the park that we met up at was actually a park that we went to a lot, and we were very familiar with. So it was the main street, right? The main, you know, street. And then it was the turn in to the park. You turned right into the park, and then there was like a little parking lot as soon as you turned in where the cars would park. And then there was like a little, you know, paved area, and then you had like a playground, you know, that paved area that led to the playground. And then on the other side of the playground was a trail, like a paved trail, like a sidewalk. I don't know if you would call it paved, but it was like a sidewalk, and it was like a loop like that. Short loop, wasn't really like anything too crazy, but the thing was at the top of that loop, because it was wooded, so in the back of that loop where there was woods, there was a little hill, and if you went up that hill, it led to the neighborhood that I lived in. Because the little town we grew up in, we knew that shit like the back of our hands. You know, we knew all the ins and outs. We knew, you know, how to get to here from there without being seen, and we were always getting into shit. So we knew that town like the back of our hands. So yeah, you followed the hill up, and then you know, it led you to like a ditch, you think, and once you ran out the ditch, you were in the neighborhood where my buddy was waiting in his truck. So the plan was, I was gonna meet him in the parking lot, get in his car, you know, I was gonna, you know, make the transaction. I had like a $5 bill folded up that I was gonna give him, you know, so I can give him something. And then I was supposed to, you know, get out like normal. And then as soon as I got to where he didn't see me, I would fucking book it into the woods, you know, on the trail, up the hill where my other buddy was waiting for me in case, you know, anything happened. And then we would, you know, run through the ditch to the street, into my buddy's truck, and then we were out of there. And it was like nothing happened. But that's not exactly how it went down. He pulled up to the parking lot, parked, you know, called me, hey, I'm here. You know, I walk up, get in his car, and he's like, well, I actually have, I think it was 14, which is a half ounce. I actually have 14 G's. I was like, you want to just buy a whole half? And I was just like, yeah, fuck it. Bring it on. You know? Yeah, fuck it. And, you know, so he's sitting there weighing it out in his lap, and he bags it up. You know, he bags the weed, and he gives it to me. You know, I give him the money. I give him like, the old slick transaction, slick drug deal transaction, classic movie shit. But yeah, we do that. We make the transaction. I walk out, I'm walking. I'm not looking back. You know what I mean? I'm just like listening, like, fuck, like when is this dude gonna realize that I handed him $5 for 14 grams of weed? And so I'm walking, but I'm walking normal, because I'm not trying to make it seem like, I'm not trying to make it seem like I just fucking, like I jacked him basically. And then as I'm walking, I just hear, hey, hey, hey. Sorry if that was kind of loud, but yeah. And so as soon as I hear him start yelling at me, I start running. I'm running as fast as I fucking can, man. And I look back, and this motherfucker was fucking Speedy Gonzalez, man. I don't know what the fuck this dude was on, but I'd never seen somebody run so fast. He was already fucking catching up to me. I was just like, oh fuck, dude. So I really started like fucking hustling. And then all this, and I'm trying to hold the bag of weed, and and so I make it up the hill. He hasn't caught me yet. But he sees me. He sees where I'm going, because he wasn't supposed to see me. I was supposed to vanish into the woods. But since he was faster than I thought, he's catching up to me, and he sees me, go up the hill and into the woods. And so obviously he follows me up there. And when I get up there, my buddy's up there, and I'm like, dude, he's chasing me. Just fucking go. And as we're running through the woods, I look back, and he goes like that, like he's reaching for a gun. So I don't know what my thought process was at this point, but he goes like that, like he's gonna take out a gun, and then I stop. I see that. I stop. I turn around, and I'm like, bro, what are you gonna do? You're gonna fucking shoot me? You're gonna fucking shoot me? Well, then fucking shoot me. Fucking shoot me then over some fucking weed. Shoot me. And thankfully he doesn't shoot me, because that would have been pretty fucking stupid. And if I would have said fucking shoot me, and he went bah and shot me. Imagine that story. Imagine my mom hearing that story. Your son got shot. Why did he get shot? Because he stole weed from the guy, and then he told the guy to fucking shoot him. That probably would have been my mom's reaction. So thank goodness he didn't shoot me, because I would have went out like an idiot, honestly. And I was an idiot back in the day. But yeah, and so I'm like, what? Fucking shoot me then. You're gonna fucking shoot me? Shoot me. And then I forgot what he said, but then I went on about, dude, because I remembered the guy. As soon as I got in the car, I kind of skipped this part earlier, but as soon as I got in the car, I realized, like, fuck, man, like, I do know you. I do remember you. Like, damn it, bro. Like, we were actually pretty cool in school. I fucking, for some reason, I just did not remember him when they were explaining him to me. And so but I was already in the situation. I wasn't going to tell him, like, hey, actually, I was just supposed to rob you, bro. I actually don't have any money. Sorry about that. Like, which is probably what I should have done. But, we needed weed, and I was kind of a shady guy back then. And I decided to go through with it instead of telling him the truth. But yeah, anyway, I'm telling him, bro, like, this was a mistake. Like, I didn't even know it was you that I was supposed to be robbing. And what the fuck, bro? Like, what the fuck are you gonna do? You gonna fucking shoot me? Like, what are we gonna do? Because I felt a little bit bad, because we were cool in school. You know what I mean? Cool in school. We were, he was a cool dude, And so, I told him, and then he was just like, basically like, bro, like, my bad, like, sorry. And then he's like, I gave him his fucking weed back, and he's like, well, I'll sell you a fucking G for $5. And so I'm like, all right, then give me a fucking G for $5. And he fucking sold us a gram. And that's pretty much the end of that story. But yeah, and by the way, Josh, I'm not gonna. I wouldn't be able to if I could. But I'm not gonna say your last name. So Josh, I doubt you're ever gonna watch this. But if you do watch this, I'm sorry, brother. I did not mean to do that, and I should have probably approached it a lot different, and probably shouldn't have been robbing people in the first place, right? That's a start. That would have been a good start for me, to not rob people, But actually, you know what? That's not the end of that story. So cut to a couple weeks later, I hear that he's been talking shit. And I like how I apologize, and I go, I hear that he's been talking shit, But hold on, he's been talking shit, that he's been telling people like, oh, what happened, except instead of him telling the truth about how I gave him his weed back and he sold me a gram, he's telling people that he punked me, that he beat my ass, that I'm a pussy, and all this shit. And I'm like, okay, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck is going on here? So I'm pissed at that, so I'm like, fuck that dude. Next time I'm gonna fucking fight him next time I see him. And I probably wasn't, you know what I mean? I was a little wannabe gangster back in the day. I acted like I was hot shit when I really wasn't, because I listened to too much rap music, and I thought I let it get to my head. Let's put it that way. But he was talking mad shit about me. And then one day I see him at the gas station. And I'm like mad, bro. I'm pissed. And I'm with my other buddy Jason, and I'm like looking at him, just like staring him down. I mean, I'm staring him down as I walk in, and then I'm like literally standing in line at the gas station behind him, and I'm fucking, I was a pussy, so I didn't say anything, but I was fucking just looking at him like pissed, or maybe I was just acting pissed off to look tough because my friend was there. I don't know, but I remember just staring him down and him not doing anything. And then me thinking about like, man, should I fucking go out there and talk shit to him and fight him? Like, what the fuck should I do? But then I look out, or my friend looks out, and he's like, hey, bro, he's got like 4 other dudes in the car. It's only 2 of us. Maybe you should not do anything right now. So I didn't do anything. And then cut to a couple weeks later after that, we're at a house party, and he's there, And we see each other, you know what I mean? It's the heat has kind of, trickled down, I guess, not trickled down, but has dissolved. The heat had dissolved a little bit, so we weren't so hot yet, or at this point, if that makes any sense. Like I said, bear with me. I just started doing podcasts. So I'll get better with time. Hopefully these stories aren't too bad, but whatever. I don't know why I just addressed that. I should have just kept going with the story, right? But I see him at a party a couple weeks later, and we don't say anything to each other. We kind of just go about our business. We it's a party. There's more people there to talk to, so we kind of just avoid each other. And then I was outside smoking a cigarette. And I remember it so vividly. I was entering the house, and he was exiting the house while I was entering the house. And I just remember opening the screen door and looking up, because, it was like one of those, you had to step up to the house, and looking up, and first thing I saw was Josh. And what went through my head was, okay, is this going to be a fight, or are we cool? You know what I mean? And we kind of look at each other for a second. And we're kind of just like looking at each other. It's kind of tense. It felt like forever, but it was probably like not even half a second. We look at each other, and I'm like, what the fuck are you going to do? And he's probably looking at me like, what the fuck are you going to do? And we're just looking at each other, and he goes. And so I go, and we shake hands, and that was it. But yeah, that's just one of the many stories that that weed has contributed to. Some of the crazy things that I did. One of the crazy things that I did. But we did a lot of crazy things. We would smoke weed at that park a lot. Actually, there was a little bench right there, and it's crazy. There was a playground, but there was never any kids playing at the playground. It was always just kids from high school doing drugs and smoking pot and drinking and stuff, which is, I guess, useful for us, but not really its intended purpose. But we would always smoke weed at the park. And there was this dude named Spider-Man. Spidey. We called him Spidey. Except he wasn't no Peter Parker. He wasn't no superhero. He was a super bum. He was a super hobo. And what I mean about super hobo is, that motherfucker was a hobo, but you drive around all around town, you would see that motherfucker everywhere. I'd be like, how the fuck did you even get here? It'd be like my fucking grandma's funeral. I'm like, dude, how the fuck did you get in here? And one day, actually, okay, so let me tell you a little bit about him first. He was just this homeless guy, and like he knew us because we were always, we were the kids that were always outside. We were always at the park. We were fishing or swimming at the lake, or fucking just doing kid shit. And so he felt like he knew us. He felt like we were like his buddies, I think. Because every time he would see us, he'd be like, oh, yeah. He'd talk like that. You can never understand what the fuck he was saying. He'd come up to us and tell us about all this shit. One time he was telling us about someone got raped and killed. And I was just like, man, that sucks, bro. But why are you telling us this? We're fucking kids, bro. We're like fucking 14. We're fucking, because we knew him young, bro. We would see him, we encountered him young, like when we were like 12. I mean, we would encounter him when we were older as teenagers, but he knew us from when we were young, and he would come and talk to us and be like, yeah, I'm looking over here, right there, and just like, like, hey, I don't know what the fuck you're saying, bro, and we kind of like, get the fuck from around here, bro, like, but I mean, we were a lot nicer than other kids, man, because I knew some dudes that probably would have jumped him, honestly. But just for approaching them, like how he approached us sometimes, because we'd just be sitting there and we'd be like, fucking, we'd see him from a distance, and he'd look over and he'd see us and he'd be like, fuck, he saw us already. He's coming over here. Fuck, he's coming over here. And yeah, so he was that guy. You'd see him all around town. He would pop up just like randomly. And there was this one time we were skipping school, and my buddy Matt had court, because he got in trouble for something. I don't know. I think it was his attendance at school, because when I went to school, if you missed too much days, your parents would get fined, and you'd have to go to court, and they'd put you on like this school probation where you couldn't get in any trouble at school, or anything like that, or else, you risk going to alternative school or juvenile or whatever it was. I don't know. But yeah, he had a court for something he had did, and we wanted to go smoke weed at his house because he was taking he didn't go to school that day because he had court in the middle of the day, which was only like 2 hours, you know what I mean? And then he had the rest of the day. And so we were going to go to his house and smoke pot, and skip school and smoke pot at his house after he got done, in court. So we're at school and he's using his grandma's car to go to court. So it's just, we're at school and he picks us up, I think, from school. School had already started, I think, or school was about to start, and it's in the morning. It's early in the morning. He picks us up from school. No, school had already started, and he picks us up from school right before he goes to court. And then he's basically like, okay, well, I'm going to go to court. I'm going to leave my grandma's car on. Y'all are going to chill in here and basically wait till I'm done in court, and then I'll come out here, and we can go to my house and fucking smoke. And so we're chilling in his grandma's car, and for some reason, the car, like, I think it was an Aztec, like the one on Breaking Bad. And we're chilling in his mom's car, or in his grandma's car, and it just shuts off. It shuts off. And so we're like, fuck, like, damn it, dude. He's going to think we fucked his grandma's car up because it was just working and now it's not working. You ever had one of those moments where you're using, like, when you borrow something from someone and you literally do nothing to it and it breaks or it stops working or something, and you're like, what in the fuck did I possibly do to do this? And then you owe that person money, or you got to explain to that person how you didn't fucking do anything, and they're like, nah, you motherfucker. But anyway, it was one of those moments, and we're just like, fuck, man. So we're Matt's already dealing with court, and that's his name. I don't know. I can't remember. I said his name already, but his name's Matt, and he's already, in court waiting to get seen. And he's like, we're fucking texting him like, bro, like, your grandma's car is like not starting. Like, I don't know what the fuck it is. Like, we don't know, but your grandma's car will not start. And so he's not only is he dealing with court, he's dealing with us. Now he's like, what the fuck? Well, what did y'all do? Like, try this, try that. And because we didn't know shit about cars at the time, and he did, I guess, because he had a Jeep and we didn't. Or I don't think he had the Jeep yet, actually. I'm an idiot. If he was using his grandma's car, he didn't have the Jeep yet. But we had other buddies that had Jeeps already or had trucks and stuff, and they would work on each other's trucks, and me and my buddy that I was with just hadn't done any of that yet. So we didn't know. And so but he did. So he was like, okay, well, try this, try that. We're trying all these things. It's not starting. And then he fucking texts us, hey, fucking Spitterman is in here. Spitterman, because he spelled it Spitter instead of Spider. And for some reason that was hilarious. And we're like, what the fuck? Spider-Man is in there. Like, we knew what he meant, but we're like, what? And he's like, dude, I'm trying to have him to where he doesn't see me. And then he texts us again, dude, he's fucking coming over there and sitting next to me. And fucking, yeah, so I guess he sat next to Spider-Man or Spider-Man in court. And then he got to, oh no, actually, I think he remembered texting us that he got kicked out. Like they kicked him out or something. Or he went in there doing some crazy shit and they put him in handcuffs or something. And then we were just like, whoa, he's probably looking for a free place to stay. Shit, because if I was a hobo, I'd be getting arrested every fucking day just to have a place to sleep and a meal. I mean, think about it. That's free meal. That's a free meal. That's shelter. You know what I mean? It's not that comfortable. But, yeah. Jail. I've been to jail a few times. I haven't been to jail. But, I've been to like, they call it the magistrate. I don't know what other places call it, but the times that I have gotten arrested, at least here in Texas, they take me to the magistrate, which is like the county jail, but not the county jail. You know, like it's only for people who are going to be there like a night or a day or two, you know, not actual inmates, you know, if that makes any sense. And man, this one time I got arrested, is actually ties in with weed getting me into trouble. Again, crazy, right? But it was Christmas. It was Christmas Day. And it was cold as shit. You know, it was cold as shit. It was one of those cold Texas winters where it was like fucking 30 degrees outside and windy and all this shit. And then we knew this dude that smoked pot. Well, he smoked pot and he sold pot. That was the main thing. But he sold pot and we were buddies with him. And so it was Christmas Day, you know what I mean? We wanted to fucking smoke. And at the time, you know, we didn't have the freedom that some of my other friends had. We couldn't smoke at our house. You know what I mean? I couldn't light up in my room or, you know, hit a bong in my room or whatever. So all our smoking we did outside, you know? So like in the ditch, you know, in our neighborhood, or, you know, sometimes we would be able to smoke inside or in my buddy's backyard. But other than that, it was most of the times that we smoked was either at the park that I was talking about earlier or at the ditch in our neighborhood, close to our street. But yeah, so we knew this dude and he sold pot, and, you know, we didn't have any pot. And he was like, hey, well, you know, y'all buy a little bit of pot, you know, y'all can come over here. There's this vacant house that we go in and smoke in all the time. It's cold as fuck. Y'all meet us over here. You know, we'll fucking smoke. You know, y'all can buy a couple G's or something. We can match, you know. I don't know if y'all are familiar with what the term match means. I don't know how universal that term is. But it basically means that I'm going to bring a blunt to smoke and you're going to bring a blunt to match my blunt. Hence the term matching. So that's what that means. So yeah, he's like, y'all come over and match. You know, we can come over and match. That's how we used to say it. So yeah, me and my other buddy were like, all right. He lived just down the street from me. You know, we link up. We're like, all right. It's fucking cold as fuck. You know, the wind's blowing. We're like, barely even fucking like, why the fuck are we out here? But we were some little fucking stoners, you know, almost to the crackhead level at that point. Cause I mean, it was fucking freezing. And this dude lived in another neighborhood. I don't know if I mentioned that, but he lived in another neighborhood. So not only did we have to walk to his house, we had to walk to another neighborhood. It was like fucking like, I don't know, like a 20-minute, at least a 25-minute walk. And so we took this 25-minute walk, you know, cars passing by, you know, like fucking cold. We're fucking all bundled up and got like fucking 5 different layers on and shit. And, you know, it fucking sucked, you know. And then we're getting there. I was gonna say pulling up, but we're getting close to the house, and we see these fucking dudes in there. It's literally like a vacant house in a neighborhood. Like it's like up for sale. There's like I'm pretty sure there was like up for sale signs, which now that I think about it, how the fuck did they get in there? Because they didn't break any windows or anything. Maybe, and how fucking stupid was the homeowner to leave like a window open or something? Like, I don't know. Maybe they hadn't been there in forever and they didn't realize they left the window open. Who knows what could have happened? But anyway, they were in this vacant house, and you would think that they would be in there, like being sneaky and trying not to attract attention, right? Well, they were not. They had lights on, the whole fucking deal. We're walking up and we can see them through the window, fucking in one of the restrooms, taking selfies in the with the mirror, and with Santa hats on. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck? But for some reason, we made the stupid decision of going, you know what? That seems cool. We're gonna go over there and we're gonna do that too. Not necessarily take pictures in the cowboy or in the Santa hats, but we're going to go in there and hang out with them in this vacant house and trespass. So we're in the house. We're trespassing. We're all sitting around in a room. We're all, sitting on the floor, because I go in there and I'm like, hey, like, I saw y'all from the window taking pictures and shit. Maybe we should sit down and smoke weed, because we were just going to smoke weed in this house. So, and smoke the weed sitting down, so that if anybody comes outside or if anybody passes by, none of these neighbors are like, who the fuck is that? Nobody lives there. You know what I mean? So they're like, okay, you're right. Let's sit down, that was the only smart decision that I made that day, by the way. But yeah, we're sitting down, we're rolling, we're breaking open the wraps, the blunts, dumping the cigar guts. That's what we used to call them, the cigar guts, the tobacco that comes in the swishers. We're dumping them out just on the carpet. We're breaking down the weed, the fucking, on something, I think on our phones or something, I don't know. And, we're rolling up, fixing to start, the session. And for some reason, I get this feeling that, man, I should stand up and look out this window, because the room that we were at, it was a house, obviously it was a house next to it, and the window was like right here on the side of the house. And, if you looked like that, you can kind of see the front of the house a little bit. If that makes any sense. The window was on the side of the house, but if you looked, you can see the front of the house a little bit. So I looked, I peeked, and I saw a cop car. First thing I saw was a cop car sitting outside the house. So immediately I get down and I'm like, hey guys, there's a fucking cop outside. And I say that and everybody starts fucking, oh shit, fucking, getting rid of the weed, I don't know what the fuck everybody did. And they're sitting there knocking on the door. They're sitting there like, we know you're fucking in there. Get the fuck out. Come on, fucking, whatever it is that the cops say. Open the fucking door, And this is probably the stupidest fucking thing I've ever done in my life. Fucking shit, man. I think back on this and I'm like, what was I thinking? Literally. But the cops are fucking knocking at the door. And maybe I was just in panic mode to the point where I fucking couldn't think. But something inside me said, hey, I should listen to what they're saying and open the door. So I opened the door like a fucking idiot. The cops come rushing in. My friends are already going out through the side window. So I'm like, I look over, I see them, and this is all happening like very fast. I open the door, the cops are coming in. As I'm seeing the cops coming in, I look over, I think it was to my right, and I see them all going out of a window. And so, one goes out, the other one goes out, and then I'm the last one, obviously. So as I try to go out the window, fucking cops grab me by the hoodie, pull me back down, Next thing you know, I'm in the living room, in cuffs, with my hands behind my back. They're fucking searching the house to see, if there's anything. And they found some weed crumbs on the floor. Literally weed crumbs. And they charged me with possession under a gram, I think. or I don't know exactly what the charge was. It was a long time ago, but possession of marijuana, okay, which was illegal at the time. There was no THCA, there was none of that stuff. It was just illegal. So they charged me for that. They charged me for trespassing, and yeah, so I get arrested. They take me to the magistrate, and I remember calling my mom, man, and it was like, fuck, man, now I'm gonna have to call my mom and tell her that I got arrested on Christmas, and this is literally Christmas, bro. Imagine that. I mean, there's people that have done way worse things in this world, but just imagine having to call your mom on Christmas, like, hey, mom, I got arrested today. Merry Christmas. You know, which sounds kind of like a joke, but it didn't feel like a joke. You know, it kind of doesn't feel like a joke now. That was pretty shitty of me to do, you know, to fuck up Christmas for my family, you know, because it wasn't just my mom that had to deal with it. It was my dad. It was my brother, you know. They all had to deal with it. Maybe not, you know, my brother not directly, but he was in the city. He was, you know, he lived there, so he had to fucking hear about it, and I basically ruined Christmas for everybody, which fucking sucks. But yeah, I got arrested on Christmas. I'm calling my mom at the jail. I'm like, hey, mom, you know, I got arrested. You know, this happened, and I'm in jail right now, and I'm going to need to get bailed out. And what my mom should have said was, well, tell your fucking friends I got you into trouble to bail you out. And she should have left me sitting in there. Because I didn't learn lessons back then for some reason. I would fuck up, and then I would fuck up again because I was an idiot. But yeah, and so I called my mom, and then after I called my mom, I called my friends. And, you know, they're all like, I can hear that they're all chilling, and they're all, you know, and like, I'm in jail. Then they're like, oh yeah, fucking, they get you or something, or yeah, they got me. You know, I'm calling you from jail, right? You know, a toll-free call, right? You got a toll-free call, right? But yeah, and when I was in there, man, I remember there was this dude, and he was in a wheelchair, and so the way that the magistrate is that you got arrested. They took you to the magistrate. They booked you. You know, they got your fingerprints, your pictures, you know, all that stuff. And then they'll put you in a cell. It's like a 10 by 10 cell, maybe less than that, but no, like maybe like a 10 by 10 cell. Yeah, like a 10 by 10 cell with, you know, like 20 other people in there. You know, there would be benches on the outside walls of it, and then there was a sink that was also a toilet that you would use that you couldn't take a shit in, because if you took a shit in it, everyone else would get pissed, and then you got another problem on your hands besides getting arrested. But yeah, so that's how it was. And the way they had set it up, it was basically like it was a bunch of not little, but it was a bunch of the 10 by 10 cells with like some smaller ones, you know, for like, you know, because they had, you know, the misdemeanors with the misdemeanors and the felons with the felons, and there wasn't as much felons really, so the felons got like a smaller one, and then there was a lot of misdemeanors though, because you'd see people go in there for like drunk driving, or like that's one thing I would say is cool. I mean, it's not, going to jail is not cool at all, and it sucks. And I definitely wouldn't recommend it. And I haven't even been to like jail, so just regular jail sucks. I don't even want to know what jail is like. But where was I going with that? Okay. So the way they had it set up was it was a bunch of these little 10-foot sections, and it was like a glass, like, you know, like at the mall, like how they have the glass doors and stuff. It was like that, except it wasn't a sliding door. It was a door that they shut and fucking locked from the outside. So it was glass, and then it was like little chain link dividers, like a chain link fence, but like all the way up, dividing the different cells. And so, you know, you couldn't, in front of you was glass, but on the side of you was the chain links, and you can hear, see, smell everything else that was going on in the cell next to you. You know, you could fucking reach over. You could fucking spit on the people in the cell next to you if you wanted to. There was, and so what they would do is you would get arrested. They'd take you to the cell with 20 other people, and then when it was your turn to see the judge, or when it was your turn to make your phone call, they'd pull you from that cell and put you in another cell that had phones in it, and you would be in there with like 2 or 3 other guys, while they're making their phone calls. And so when I was in there making my phone calls, I guess, because I made 2 of them. In the next cell over, there was a dude, and there was a wheelchair, and he was laying on the bench like this in the fetal position, facing the other way. So he had his back, to me, to the cell that I was in. And man, it was one of the most nastiest things I've ever seen, honestly. He had his pants down. And not to be messed up, but, his legs were like withered, because he was in a wheelchair, which was very like fucked up, like, and inattentive of like the officers. I'm not going to say where this was that I got arrested, but yeah, it was very fucked up that they let it get to this point, honestly. It's fucked. But it was a disabled guy, man, because his legs were withered away, so he was laying down. And now that I think about it, now that I'm older, this was probably happening because he had no control of the bottom half of his body because he was disabled. And I just remember him laying there on the bench with his wheelchair, on the floor beside him, curled up in the fetal position with his back towards me. And, his pants were pulled down to the point where his ass was out. Not all the way like down to his ankles, but just to where his ass was out. And he had shit all over his ass, and it stunk, dude. That was fucking gross, dude. And then so he had shit smeared all over his ass, all over his fucking pants. Fucking shit was everywhere. And then to top it all off, then he starts pissing himself. So he's literally pissing himself in the other cell, just laying there. I'm watching this man with shit on his ass, pissing himself. Fucking, it's like dripping off the bench onto the floor. You can hear it. I'm not going to try to make the sound of dripping, water or urine, but yeah. And I see it dripping, and I'm just like, oh, dude, like, what the fuck, dude? Like, that's... So I can't even imagine the things that you see in jail, like prison. Because that was kind of rough, honestly. I may not have thought it was rough at the time, but thinking back on it, like, man, that was fucked. Like, they needed to clean that guy up. That was unsanitary, and that guy was disabled. You know what I mean? I don't know what he did to get in there, but that was fucked. But yeah. So let's see, how long have we done here? Oh, what the fuck? Let's see, technical difficulties, guys. Okay, that was weird. I got logged out of the computer, but we are still recording. Like I said, if you didn't catch it on the last episode, this is a new thing that I started to do. Something I kind of just rigged up out of nowhere. So I'm still learning. I'm still learning the ropes. With each episode, and as time goes on, they'll get better and better. I'm still, like I said, again, learning things. So yeah, we are still recording, thankfully, though. That scared me for a second. I thought I was sitting there just talking to myself for no reason. But we're good. But yeah, I think we're gonna finish off this one. I got a couple videos here that I'd like to watch with y'all and kind of tell y'all what I think about them. I'm gonna try to put them to where y'all can watch it right here somewhere in this area. Might look a little funny because the videos are gonna be playing here and I'm gonna be watching them here on my computer screen. But we're gonna roll with the punches and we're gonna see how it comes out. So let's see. First video.
$20. Oh, hold on.
Jeez, dude.
You didn't tell me how many times
Fucking
I had
A.
to try. Oh, I just...
Yeah, your shit ringing.
Is it?
Your shit
Am I?
Ringing, boy.
Shit, you tell me.
Okay. Bet you can't drop me for 50. You heard me?
What the
think you
fuck
gonna
is
drop
this
me
dude
down?
on? Okay. So how do you get to this point in your life? Like, how do you get there? You're wearing a wife beater and jean shorts trying to crack a bottle over your head at a bar for, what was it, $20? $20 ain't shit. You can barely get a fucking meal with $20 nowadays in some places. $20. Man, did you see what he was wearing too? The guy looks like he fucking smokes meth, hangs out at the bar, and beats his wife for a living. He can beat his wife, but he couldn't beat hair loss, you know? That's crazy. And the jean shorts and wife beater. If you're at a bar and there's a dude walking around with tribal tattoos and jean shorts and a wife beater, you're probably in a bad place and you should probably get out of there. Honestly. Because these are the kinds of things that go on at places like that. And sure, it's fun to watch, but it can get very sticky and very greasy real fast. So you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful. Let's move on to the next one. All right. Shout out to all the pages too that I got these from. I don't want to take credit for anything and try to pass it off as my own. So shout out to a Sugar Biscuit Band on Instagram, I think. Sugar Biscuit Band. All right, let's watch this one. Damn. Stay away from these electric death traps. Yeah, this is you would never catch me in one of these electric vehicles. What is he doing? Is he praying? Yeah, I think he's praying. I would be praying too. I would have just jumped out right there, but I don't know. It's probably... How fast do y'all think he's going right there? Like right there. He's not going that fast. But then what is he going to do? Jump out into the fucking highway and get trampled? Get ran over? You know? That'd be so... Oh, shit. Not gonna lie. I did not think that one was gonna end like that. Honestly, that's crazy. So yeah, that alone right there was enough for me not to ever want to buy an electric car. Why would you want it? You know? Have to deal with that shit? You know? Fucking... Plus, be a man. Burn some fucking fossil fuels. You know? Rev your fucking engine. I bet you, what do those things sound like when you rev them up? They probably sound like a fucking air fryer. Fucking ticking time bombs, dude. Ticking time bombs, fucking death traps. Like self-driving cars. You got me fucked up. The self-driving car, fucking technology fucking sucks. Okay? It's cool, honestly, but sometimes when you need it to work, it just fucking sucks for no reason. They're like, it chooses when it wants to work, when it wants to do its job, and it chooses when it doesn't. You know? And yeah, I am not trusting technology or AI or anything that's not a human, basically. Even some humans you can't trust. But you're going to trust an AI? You're going to trust a fucking car to think and drive for you? You know, that's nuts. That's nuts that people even do that. And I didn't even know that it was that bad. I always thought, like, man, could something like that happen? Like, has something like that happened? And apparently it has from that video. And I wonder how much times that happens and they try to cover it up. I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to own an electric car. I'm not trying to do that. Absolutely not. Let's see. Next video.
Tell my mom on you.
Shut up.
Damn. I like how he has that evil laugh. That's that big brother when mom ain't watching laugh. You know? Fucking dude. You need big brothers though, dude. Kids need to get picked on because there's a lot of people that'll probably look at that video now today and be like, nah, what was he doing to that kid? That's not funny. It's like, what happened? Did the kid get hurt? You know what I mean? Did he put hands on the kid? Did he say something ugly to the kid? No. You know, that kid's going to grow up and he's going to remember that memory and he's going to probably laugh at that shit. You know, because that's what I would do. My dad used to scare the shit out of me when we were kids. You know, I scare the shit out of my kids. You know, that's just, I feel like a dad thing. You know, and you need it, especially boys. Boys need that shit. They need to be toughened up. You know, they need a little roughing up, you know. That way they grow up, they're not, you know what, they're not wussies. Wussies is a better word than what I was gonna say. But yeah, that's last video here, and then we'll be done with this one. Last video. Shouts out to Hot Dog Landlord, whoever that is. Oh, and also shouts out to Black Reaper 1269 for the last one. Forgot to do that. Okay, so we'll probably cut some of the technical difficulties out, and then
Dickhead.
but let's watch the last video.
Dickhead. Dickhead. Dickhead.
Damn, Dickhead is right.
Dickhead. Yo.
Lower it. Like, what is he doing? This guy's on the clock doing this shit. I want to know what this guy's thought process was. Because I feel like he could have easily got out of that situation. You know? All he had to do was fucking lower that thing. Why did he not do it?
He burnt. Oh no.
Okay, so I've driven company trucks before, but I've never done anything that fucking stupid. Shit, dude. Stupidest thing I ever done probably in a company truck was like I backed into a car that was behind me one time because he parked kind of close to me though. So it wasn't 100% my fault because I put it in reverse, and as soon as I let the foot off the gas or off the brake, it just immediately. But yeah, that's pretty fucking stupid. That guy was on the clock probably too. You know, and I like how at the end of the video he was just like, "What? Don't look at me. I didn't do this." Like, oh, I don't have a license to drive this vehicle. I don't know why they hired me. But don't really have too much to say about that one, I guess. But yeah, I guess we'll go ahead and end this one on that. I think it's been about an hour or so since I've been here. So yeah, thank y'all for tuning in. The more you watch, the more content I'll have for y'all, the better it'll get. I'm the more my flow will get better. Give me some time. But it's also good that I'm getting all these awkward episodes out of the way first, so that when I do have a following, y'all can have some decent content. But we'll go ahead and end it on that. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here, get out of the closet. I'm gonna come out as gay. Not really. I'm gonna come out as straight, but we are gonna call it a day, and till next time.